Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us tonight to hear about future opportunities for your child. My name is Ebony Langford Brown, and I'm the Director of Academic Programs for the MCPS. Tonight's webinar will include live interpretation in ASL, Spanish, French, and Amharic. You can click the globe icon on the bottom bar should you need those services. Before we begin, I'd like for you to write down or think about three of your child's interests. Think about what excites them, what they talk about at home, or where you naturally see their strengths. And keep those in mind as we walk through this evening's presentation. For this evening, the Q&A feature is open for you to ask questions during the session. We have time dedicated during the presentation to answer questions from the Q&A, and we will address as many as possible then. The team will also address questions in the chat as well. You also see there's a Q&R code on the screen. You may use that code to give feedback or record your questions there in the event that we are not able to answer them during the session. So let's jump right in. So tonight, we're eager to share big opportunities ahead for your student. MCPS already has strong schools and high-performing students, and that will absolutely continue for your children. As they matriculate through middle and high school, your child will still have access to excellent teachers, strong academics, arts, athletics, and activities in their neighborhood schools. The big opportunities we're talking about tonight is how we are building on the strong foundation and expanding what students can experience as they move into high school. As students grow and their interests become clearer, many of them want to explore a passion more deeply, whether it's in science or arts, leadership, engineering, or helping other people through healthcare. Tonight, we will share what we're doing to expand the number and variety of those opportunities so more students can explore interests and potential career pathways while they're still in high school. So what can you expect tonight? Tonight, we're going to cover three main areas. First, we're going to look at high school opportunities, both the strong local schools as well as the optional regional programs. Second, we'll talk about the regional model, why we're expanding access and how the regions are structured and what will stay the same. Last, we'll talk through the 5 program themes so you can see how student interests connect to the pathway options. So it's helpful to begin with an understanding of how students typically move through the school system. For most students, the journey is straightforward. Students move from elementary to their neighborhood middle school, usually with the same group of classmates they've been learning with for several years. MCPS has strong middle schools. In middle school, students begin to experience more choice and more exploration in their learning. They continue taking core academic courses like English, math, science, and social studies, often at different levels depending upon their readiness and interest. Middle schools also introduce a wider range of electives, including world languages, fine arts, physical education, and courses that build skills like computational thinking. Students also participate in clubs, activities, and sports, and receive the counseling and social supports that help them grow during those middle school years. There are additional middle school opportunities beyond the local school. For some students, those include magnet consortium programs, county-wide criteria-based programs, and language immersion pathways. When students transition from middle school into high school, their opportunities expand even further. Every high school offers strong academic programs, including advanced coursework such as advanced placement or international baccalaureate. Students can choose from a wide range of electives such as digital art, journalism, philosophy, and computer science. Many high schools also offer career-focused programs and pathways where students can begin exploring fields of interest and even earn professional certifications while still in high school. And importantly, most students attend high school with many of the same peers they've grown up with, which helps to maintain a sense of community and belonging. So, big opportunity I mentioned earlier is focused on the way MCPS is expanding access to programs. We're doing this through what we call the Regional Program Service Model. Under this model, high schools are organized into geographic regions.
Ebony?
Oh, sorry.
Yes, can you, yeah, it's Adventure Slide.
Of course, thank you. So the way that we're expanding is through the Regional Program Service Model. Under this model, schools are grouped and organized into geographic regions made up of several clusters. Each cluster or region will have 4 to 5 schools. Within each region, students will be able to access criteria-based programs, interest-based programs, and specialized pathways that are available across that region. This structure allows us to expand the number of seats available in specialized programs, while also keeping programs accessible to students within their home region. The goals of this model are clear. First, expand access so more students can participate in high-quality programs. Second, we want to reduce wait lists because today thousands of students apply for specialized programs each year, and many cannot be accommodated. We have typically 3,000 applicants for 300 seats. And third, we want to increase opportunity for all students so that access to programs is not determined by luck or zip code. By organizing programs regionally, we can increase the number of opportunities available to students while keeping those opportunities closer to home. So as you see, this slide represents the 6 regions model. The county is organized into 6 geographic regions. Noted on the screen, you can see regions 1 through 6. And again, each region will have 4 to 5 high schools. So in these regions, the high schools are located close to one another, which allows us to expand programming while creating more efficient transportation models. So here you can see the specific high schools assigned to each region. Students attend their home high school. If they choose to apply to a regional program, they can apply to one of the schools in their assigned region. So as you see, Region 1 includes Bethesda, Chevy Chase, Montgomery Blair, Walt Whitman, Einstein, and Northwood. Region 2 has Blake, Paint Branch, Springbrook, and Sherwood. Region 3, Woodward, Kennedy, Walter Johnson, and Wheaton. And Region 4 has Richard, Montgomery, Rockville, Winston, Churchill, and Wooten. You'll see that there are 2 options right now for Region 5. This is because the Board of Education is making decisions about the use of High School 27, which is located at the Crown site. If the Crown site opens, you'll see that Region 5 will include Magruder, Gaithersburg, Quince Orchard, Watkins Mill, and High School 27 at Crown. Alternatively, if the Crown facility is used for a different purpose, that region will include those schools without Crown. And then you can see there, Region 6 includes Seneca Valley, Clarksburg, Damascus, Poolesville, and Northwest. So I want to take a minute to talk about the timeline for this shift to the regional program model. So this chart shows that our students who are currently grade 7, that are the class of 2030, will be the first group of students to transition to the regional model. So our current 7th graders, as they move into 8th grade, will be the first group of students who will begin the new model. The model will start in school year 27-28. So all students who are currently in grade 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12 will not be impacted, and there will be no changes to their current high school programming. So your students who are in elementary will be a part of the new regional model. Highlighted in the dark orange outline, you'll see that there is a 3-year transition window where we will bring on one grade level at a time. So we'll start with grade 9, then grade 10, grade 11, and then grade 12. And as we start to bring on one grade level at a time, all of the older grades, grades 8 through 12, will continue in their pathway and will have some students who are in the new model and some students who are completing the old model. So now that we've talked about the overall structure of the regional model and how students move from middle school to high school, the next piece to understand is how these programs are organized. Across the system, regional programs are organized into 5 major program themes, or what I'd like to call 5 buckets. These buckets represent broad areas of interest where students may want to focus their learning and explore future careers. The 5 themes or buckets are medical science and healthcare, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, STEM, international baccalaureate, humanities and languages, leadership in public service, and our last theme or bucket is visual and performing arts, design, and communication. Before we talk about the pathways that fill these buckets, it's important to understand how these buckets were selected. These themes were developed through extensive engagement and analysis across the school system. We collected feedback from more than 12,000 students, parents, community members, and staff. And these were the opportunities that they thought would be valuable for their students. We also um, looked and worked with our industry and workforce leaders because they had thoughts as well about those important areas that would have our students future ready and have economic opportunities. So as a result of that, we have these 5 buckets that reflect student interests, community priorities, and future career pathways. So now let's look at the, the bucket. So imagine the 5 buckets sitting in front of you and one for each theme. In the bucket itself is the bucket itself is the theme, and the programs that go inside those buckets are what we call pathways. So the bucket tells the general area, and the pathways tell exactly what the students will study within that area. For example, inside the medical science and healthcare bucket, you might see pathways such as medical science with biomedical uh, and clinical healthcare and pharmacy technician programs. So inside the STEM bucket, you might see pathways in engineering, computer science, machine learning, and technology-focused programs. So each bucket represents a broad area, and the pathways that fill those buckets are specific learning experiences for students. Across all the regions, all 5 themes or buckets exist. However, it's important to understand that while the buckets are consistent across all the region, the specific pathways that fill those buckets may vary slightly by school or region. So in other words, the buckets are the same, but the pathways might be different. This variation builds on the existing assets and strengths at each school, including facilities and existing programs, while ensuring that across the county, there are the same categories and opportunities for students. Before we take some time to really dig deeper into some of the pathways, I want to stop to answer some questions, right? So uh, there are a few questions that we have received over the various engagements that we've had with families. And the first is, do students have to apply to a regional program? The homeschool remains the primary experience for most students. About 80% of students will continue in their homeschool. All of our high schools offer strong opportunities, including advanced coursework and opportunities across various content areas. Students do not need to be in a specialized program to be college, career, or community ready. Many students intentionally stay in their home schools because they value their home community, existing activities and friendships, and the proximity to home. Regional programs are designed for students who want to go deeper in a particular field or theme. So how many seats will regional programs have? Most of the programs we're expecting to enroll between 30 and 60 students. That is the floor, and we will make other seats available as facilities and interest arrive. Will programs be lottery-based or criteria-based, and can students apply outside their region? So some pathways will be criteria-based and others will be interest-based. Criteria-based means that there will be academic measures that are used to determine if students qualify for participation in the pathway, and interest-based will be those where students can apply and be a part of a lottery to be selected to be in that particular pathway. Students will apply for programs within their assigned region, not across the county in other regions. Okay. Can students still apply to CTE hubs like Thomas Edison or Seneca Valley? And yes, these CTE hubs remain available in this model. Thomas Edison will service regions 1, 2, and 3, and Seneca Valley will service regions 4, 5, and 6. Okay. A few more questions. How will students and families learn about the programs and application process? So we're working to ensure that families receive clear communication through multiple channels. Students will learn about options through middle school counseling presentations, school staff and school day exploration opportunities, district resources, and events such as My Family Fair. Families will receive information through school and district communication, information sessions, web pages, and multilingual outreach. One important goal is to make sure that access to information is more consistent across communities. So how will MCPS ensure the quality and rigor match current magnets? Program quality will be supported through common program design, shared course expectations, and consistent pathway structures across regions. Central office coordinators will provide instructional leadership and oversight. The budget includes staffing to support our teachers directly in buildings with just-in-time support around planning and supporting implementation within the program. The program quality will be monitored using academic measures, and we will be making shifts as needs arise related to how programs are proceeding. So how will MCPS staff these programs given the teacher shortage? These programs will launch gradually, one grade level at a time rather than all at once. This gives MCPS time to recruit staff, build teacher expertise, and provide professional learning. Many pathways build on existing school strengths, current resources, and established staff capacity. So what will happen to teachers and staff? Teachers and staff remain central to program success. Staffing will follow the existing MCPSS processes and requirements. Some staff will remain in their current school, while others may have opportunities to support or launch new pathways. Again, professional learning will be provided to support our teachers and educators to ensure a smooth implementation. All right. When will we hear about changes to middle school magnet programs? So middle school scheduling changes must first align to the state's new daily requirements around mathematics. The state is requiring that there's 60 minutes of mathematics for our middle school students, and we will be making adjustments to that. And then we'll start talking about what other changes might be made in our middle school programs. That change is expected to occur in school year 27-28. And so after that, we'll start making other decisions about changes to the middle school programs. Okay. All right. So now we're going to transition to hear more from more specifics about the pathways and programs that are offered.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Nicola Richards Wright, and I'm a coordinator in the Career and Post-Secondary Partnerships. As I'll be focusing on the medical science and healthcare theme, and just to do a little reminder based on what was just presented by Ebony, for the regional programs, students apply to pathways within their assigned region. While specific pathway names and course sequences may vary slightly by school, all 5 themes are represented across the 6 region. Now, with that in mind, when we look specifically at the medical science and healthcare pathway, this pathway is designed for students who are curious about how the human body works and who are interested in careers connected to medicine, research, or patient care. Students in this theme may pursue biomedical science, biotechnology, pharmacy technician, or certified clinical medical assistant pathways. Each of these options provides a slightly different lens into the healthcare field, ranging from laboratory research to direct patient care. Now, the examples on the slides really represents a mix of experiences across the various medical science and healthcare pathways. Student experiences and opportunities will depend on the specific pathway that's offered in their region and school. We say it is important that families understand that this pathway combines strong college preparation with career-connected learning. Students are not choosing between college and career, they're really preparing for both. Now, if you find that your child has an interest in this specific area, there are a number of ways that you can nurture and support this interest. And a few of them includes encouraging curiosity about how the body works and really exploring volunteer or service opportunities with your child. On the next slide, we have provided a sample of the pathway options. The academic and clinical experiences students will engage in, as well as industry recognized credentials they may have opportunity to earn. So what you're realizing here is that students have the opportunity to explore the connection between science, human health, and community well-being. Experiences may include lab investigations, clinical observations, internships, research projects, and apprenticeships. Students are also able to earn industry-recognized credential in any of these specific pathways. For example, they may earn the base certification if they're doing biomed or biotech, or they could earn the Certified Clinical Medical Assistant certification if they're in the CCMA program. This specific pathway, students are building a strong foundation while preparing for college and health-related careers.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Rosanna Thomas Haywood, and I am the supervisor for pre-K through 12 science, and I'm going to share a little bit about the STEM themed programs. Within this theme, there will be criteria-based programs and interest-based program options. And let's start off by talking about the kind of learner. These are the kids who are curious, very interested in solving problems, always tinkering with different things, looking to build a variety of things from Legos to building toys or even just building blocks. These are also some of the kids who love math and science and who are your critical and logical thinkers. You may notice not only are they interested in building and Legos, but they're interested in taking things apart in the house. Or when they have toys, they take apart their toys. They're curious. They want to understand how things work and how things fit together. They're very curious about systems. These are also kids who often are engaged in coding and robotics and ask a lot of questions of why and how, especially at the natural world. They're very curious about what they observe when they are outdoors or on a variety of different field trips. How do we support these students? There's a variety of ways to support them. We are so fortunate to live in one of the largest STEM hubs in the country. So there are many opportunities from museum visits to STEM clubs to a variety of after-school clubs where they can build a variety of kits as well as code and participate in competition. If you look on the Science Montgomery County Public Schools website, we actually provide a lot of resources for parents in addition to what I mentioned. There are a lot of hands-on science labs that are provided through the National Science Teachers Association, NSTA. And there are a list of different field trips that you can engage in with your child. Next slide. So as I shared in this cluster of programs, there will be criteria-based options as well as interest-based. The criteria-based that I believe most of us are familiar with is the science, mathematics, and computer science program that's currently at Bellaire and Poolesville High School. That model will continue and replicate into 4 other schools. In addition to that criteria-based program, we will also offer programs related in engineering, computer science, and cybersecurity. So what would the student experience be like? Well, our goal is really to cohort these students in their science course and an inquiry-based course. We want them to get engaged in critical thinking as soon as possible. They'll have the opportunity to apply what they're learning in their science and math to solving problems that are engaging and are exciting. Get them involved in a variety of design challenges, coding challenges. Of course, there'll be plenty of opportunity to participate in laboratory investigations. Many of these programs will have partnerships with universities and colleges, and there will be opportunities for internships. Again, we are in an amazing STEP hub, and our goal is to tap into as many resources in our community to make sure our kids get real world experiences. These students will, as I shared, engage in a lot of complex problems. They are engaged in research. And there will be opportunities for advanced science, mathematics, as well as computer science and engineering courses. Some of the advanced science courses may range depending on student interests and as well as staff expertise. We may see courses from immunology, organic chemistry, to thermodynamics or quantum physics. There will also be opportunities for college courses, AP, IB, and dual enrollment. We will definitely have additional opportunities for technical credentialing and overall making sure these kids are prepared not just for college, but for career. So more to come, and we are super excited to bring these programs to the different regions in the county.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Jennifer Scavullo, and I'm a coordinator in the Office of Accelerated and Enriched Instruction. And our next portion is about International Baccalaureate, Humanities and Languages. So thinking about these three pathways, just think about your child of, are they curious about other people, other cultures? How much do they read a lot? Do they like to talk? Some of them, depending on their age, might be really interested in debate and looking into things. Also thinking about like open-minded, not just thinking about other cultures, but like, well, how does that work? What does that mean for me? Why is it this way? Um, and when we were first developing these slides, some things that came up was like, is your student interested in history and things and talking about that stuff? And at first I was a little confused because I was thinking about young elementary kids, and then I remembered my own child who is an eighth grader, and when he was in preschool and elementary, he would talk nonstop, asking questions about everything, from whether anything he might have heard on the news or what he was learning in school. And so if you have a child that's like that and just wants to read and write and communicate, these might be the pathways for your child. So things that you can encourage them is just continuing that love of reading, getting them to read different types of books, maybe in a different language, a book they already know. And then also living here in the DMV, we have so many amazing museums that can open them up to other cultures, to just walking around and looking at the monuments and talking to them about things. It's one of the best things I love about living in this region. So, and lots of other opportunities in the area. Francois, do you want to add anything, especially for the languages?
Good evening, everyone. My name is Françoise Vandenplas. I'm the Pre-K-12 World Languages Supervisor, and I'm going to talk to you just a little bit about our Critical Languages, Cultures, and Global Connections program pathway that we will have in all six regions. So if your child is really interested in what is happening outside of MCPS, what is interested in what is happening in the world, is interested in past or current world events, is interested in learning a different language, this may be the pathway for your child. This will be a pathway focusing on Mandarin Chinese. And this is an interest-based program that will have two entrance points, one for students who have never studied Mandarin Chinese, and the second pathway for students who already have either studied Mandarin Chinese or who may be heritage and native speakers of Chinese. It will be paired with another set of courses that are called Global Connections that may be linked to social studies, may be linked to fine arts, or even to science. So a lot of options. We know that knowing a second language never goes to waste. It really is an asset for any type of profession. So I highly encourage you to consider this if you really have a child who is interested in what's happening outside of MCPS.
Great. And then, so a little bit more information about humanities and International Baccalaureate. So the International Baccalaureate is a program that is, Ebony, sorry to interrupt, we have two interpreters with their hands up. Do we need to address that, or can I keep going?
Hold on, let me check.
Yeah. I want to make sure people can understand.
I think
Keep
that,
going.
go
Yeah,
ahead,
keep going. If the interpreters could add their questions in the Q&A, we'll be happy to support them that way.
or in the chat as well. I have
Okay.
access.
Okay, perfect. So the International Baccalaureate is a balanced curriculum program that students take classes in all six subjects, so all of the subjects, and then a seventh class that is called the Theory of Knowledge. And so it's a class that allows the And I'm back. Okay. All right. Can you hear me?
Yep, doing great.
Okay, sorry. Thunderstorms are going on right now, and my computer went black. Okay. So International Baccalaureate, kids take courses in all 6 subjects. They have a 7th class, Theory of Knowledge, which gets them to really think about, why do we know what we know? Why do we think what we know? Why is it this way in one part of the world versus another part of the world? Where does this knowledge come from? And what is knowledge? And all of that also is interconnected into the subjects. Then the IB students are also asked to write an extended essay, which is a 5,000 plus word essay. They write it over about a year and a half. And it is a research paper, a deep dive into a topic of their choice, and they have a supervisor. So, so that's a little bit about that class, or that program. I'm going to switch to humanities. And humanities is a program that we have that is really focused on English, social studies, and the arts. The students take a variety of AP courses. Both humanities and international baccalaureate are also include languages. IB students have to take a language during the program, and in humanities, it's very much encouraged for students to continue a language in the program. They will also work on a capstone research paper of a topic of their choice in their junior and senior year. And so the cool thing about both of those programs is that students have come back from both humanities and our IB schools and have just said, this has been a great experience. I'm super prepared for college. I'm ready to go. I'm getting the skill. I got the skills I needed. And I was even able to help my classmates, my roommate or something. So all of these programs, and including the languages program, just are a way for kids to really dive into, like Francois said, outside of MCPS. And lots of AP courses are available to students. IB courses obviously are available to students, and so yeah, thanks. We lost the presentation.
That's okay. We'll get it. Keep going.
Okay.
And then
I mean,
once you're finished,
okay.
we'll move on to Tracy.
I
Thank you,
think
everyone.
I'm ready. Unless Francois, we want to add anything else, but I think we've covered it all.
No, thank you very much. We covered it. Thank you.
And we love languages. All 3 of those have languages, right?
My
Okay.
Wi-Fi went out, so I'm using my hotspot on one device, but the other one I cannot.
That's okay.
So
We're going to
someone
take care of
can-
you.
It's okay.
Thank you.
We can keep on going.
Yep.
Okay. So next, we're good.
I believe I'm next. Hi, everyone. My name is Tracy Oliver Gary, and I am the proud Pre-K-12 Social Studies Supervisor for MCPS. And I'm going to talk to you about the Leadership and Public Service program theme. So I want you to think about what you wrote about your kid at the beginning of today's session. You wrote a few characteristics about your kid, or I want you to think about, what your kid is like right now. If your child is a natural born bossy person, a person who likes to tell everybody what to do, or if your child has deep empathy for other people and they just don't understand why some people do the things that they do, or why everybody doesn't have what they have or have enough food or things like that. If they're a deeply empathetic person, if they like to take the initiative, they see a problem and it's chaotic and they begin to organize people, or they begin to think of better ways of doing things. They're confident in their decision making. If they have a natural maturity about themselves, you have a natural born leader. And the leadership and public service program thing is perfect for your child, or will be perfect for your child if MCPS moves forward with the regional programs. So I want to tell you a little bit about the program. Or let me just back up. So if your child has those types of characteristics, ways that you can hone those skills. You can help them to volunteer, or you can take them to volunteer at different places. Now, I do know that sometimes it's difficult finding volunteer opportunities for elementary age kids, but there are a few in the area. Or you can decide to say, okay, it's Valentine's Day. Let's make Valentine's Day cards for people at a nursing home or people in the hospital. You can do different things at your own home to help them to feel like they're giving back or doing a service to the community and to other people. So I want to now tell you a little bit about the program theme. The program theme has different pathways in it. So we have, I'm on that net. Oh, yeah, you're right. But I think, yeah, you're at the right one. We have a global ecology. So let me just preface it this way. There are multiple program pathways under the big umbrella or inside the big bucket of leadership and public service. And those pathways include global ecology, law and criminal justice, leadership for social justice, environmental science, and JROTC. What all of those program pathways have in common is that they will all continue to develop leadership skills and qualities in your child. They will teach students how to get other people on board for increasing their stakeholder interest. They will help them to gather others around their ideas to promote them. Another thing that these program themes will include will be projects that students must lead. They must create them, they must implement them, and they also have to study them. And that is huge, because one of the things that colleges and universities look for as students are applying to their institutions is that they want to know, describe your leadership skills. How have you, can you all hear me? I'm purple and I'm frozen, I see.
We hear you. We hear you, Tracy.
Okay, so that's an awful picture of me on that, but I'll keep on going. I'll keep on going. Let's see if this helps. I'll just keep going. Okay, so the storm is trying to interrupt our program today, huh? So I'm keep on. So the schools want to know how and in what ways is your child a leader, not only in their schools, but also in their community. And so this program will actually help them to develop those skills so that they will have no problem writing or expressing how they're leaders on those college applications. But not only that, that leadership skill will also be very helpful to them when they are outside of college, or perhaps any job opportunities while they are in college. It will put them in a great place for promotions, etc., because they will have that skill set and they would have developed it very young. The program will include other courses such as research, statistics, depending on the program pathway that you have, but they will be well qualified for many positions. But not only that, they'll be set up to be able to show how they will be giving back to their future college or university life. Because it's not just about getting the information or getting an education. It's also, schools want to know, how will you contribute to that school environment? And the students in this program will do well in that. And so I think my video just totally went out and with the weather, and I can't get it on, but I'm going to move on now. I'm letting now visual and performing arts.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Dr. Randy Rumpf. I'm the MCPS Supervisor Pre-K-12 for Visual and Performing Arts. Pleasure to be here with you this evening to talk about the exciting things that we have planned for our Visual and Performing Arts pathways at our regional sites. Mine is going to be extreme high overview. If you remember from the opening session, if you think about the buckets being the actual regional side at the school level, and then the pathways being the broken down. So our pathways focus on each one of the areas, as you can see at the top of the slide here: visual arts, dance, theater, instrumental and choral, and general music are all together under music, fashion design, animation, game design, video and audio production, and graphic design. So what kind of learners? We've been talking about that this evening. I don't try to box creatives into one certain area because you could be thinking about anything, right? A lot of artists and musicians go on to be engineers, or theater kids go on to be lawyers. So it really kind of depends on what your child is doing. Are they sitting there daydreaming? If they're daydreaming, maybe they're just thinking about something exciting, or trying to figure out something in their mind, on what they want to do next. So you can obviously, the big ones, as you can see here on the bullets, they're a creative person. They love performing, expressing their ideas, right? Those who are thinkers and enjoy storytelling or design, or just coming up with their own artistic interpretations of something. If you ask them, well, what's this picture represent? That's the type of things that you can start doing even with their schoolwork. If they bring something home from school, it's like, well, what led you to this? Because even our elementary visual art curriculum is all about self-expression and self-voice. So teachers aren't necessarily saying, draw this, but you could ask them on, why is it that you drew this, or whichever the case may be. And as you see the last bullet there, learners who enjoy presenting their work and receiving feedback. When you have family reunions, are they ones that have to grab the mic and sing karaoke, right? It could be, that's where it starts sometimes, right? What you might notice now, again, some of those things I just talked about, but what activities are they involved in? What do they seem to be gravitating, towards the most? And you can see those types of things there. If they're getting option in schools for projects, what are they choosing to do as their projects? Are they just writing a paper, or are they expressing something in a theater's format or a script? And a lot of this last one here, maybe not so much for middle or elementary school kids, but definitely middle school. We see a large influx of those that are working on creating their own YouTube channels around gaming, whatever it may be. Obviously, making social media clips if that's their thing. But even, composing music, you can write an entire orchestra on your phone now. So those are the types of things, as you move through the next couple of years, you can start looking at as they get into middle school. What are they doing that they seem to be getting into the most, right? That the technology that's available now is just amazing, obviously. So how are they using that to demonstrate the creative side that they have within them? Again, how do you support? Similar to what we've heard, that we're very blessed to be here, and a great resource for the arts in general: Glenstone Museum, Strathmore Concert Hall, Imagination Stage, Olney Theater. There's just tons of places all over the place. Plus, our own middle school and secondary programs, performances, concerts, showcases, visual art displays as they put them out. So there's a whole ton of things, of opportunities that are out there right now that students can be exposed to different things. Look at an opportunity for your child to share their work with family and friends, like I said. Tons of art classes also at the same community partners I just mentioned that the students can dive into and help them to think, help your child reflect on what they enjoy, why they enjoy creating, and why. And we can skip to the next one, please. Again, just staying high, but all of our pathways have common trends within them. And you can see it here. What is the student going to experience? Studio-based creative practice, performance production opportunities, portfolio development, collaboration, field trip showcases and regional productions, and capstone and exhibition experiences. So there'll be a normal academic pathway that's mapped out in the slides that have been shared via board meetings and their work sessions, where you can see the progression. All of our pathways for visual and performing arts have a double period in content. That's to allow the student to get a strong foundation their freshman year, and then starting their sophomore year, they can branch out into different areas if they want to. You can still be a performer, but you can also be a YouTube creator, or you'd be working backstage in the theater. So by the time they reach their junior and senior year, similar to you've also been hearing earlier this evening, they're in a good place to get industry recognized credentials. So if they become Adobe certified, they could hop right out into the marketplace and probably find a job. Not necessarily within the arts, but everybody usually needs a graphic designer somewhere. So that's what Adobe's all about. They could get tied into apprenticeships and internships. Again, we have so many local partners in the area we're fortunate to work with. All of that is being planned and mapped out. So as we approach the years for this group, remember, it starts in 27. So as we approach 2029, 2030, those students that are getting into upper level apprenticeships and internships have that access available to them. Everybody will also do a capstone project, which is kind of just follow them along their 4 years. They're guiding themselves towards their own capstone project for their interest. Academic foundation, you still have to have it. That's all there. Students in these programs often express creative expression and performance, thrive in collaboration, or even in isolation. Again, write an entire orchestra on your phone. You never know what's coming out of there. But then what happens is the media itself, somebody hears the symphony and then they start talking about how they wrote the symphony and how they developed and such. And then I mentioned they'll still have continued based on their schedule within the school, IP and AP and dual enrollment classes. There's a forthcoming MSDE, Maryland State Department of Education, Music Pathway Diploma, or sorry, Arts Pathway Diploma that will also be starting in 2027, which these students will participate easily in and achieve. And even students who are not doing this regional program but are still opt to stay in their local program can still reach that pathway. Details on that will be released once it's finalized by MSDE. But the pathway itself is going to, excuse me, the seal is going to be available to if you're in the regional pathway or the local pathway. Building your portfolio that you can go out and start and get into the job market. And we mentioned capstones, et cetera, et cetera. And again, this is all within these areas, dance, theater, music, design. These pathways are really being designed on our end to expand what they access in their local program. Local programs will still obviously run in all schools. To even maybe turn a greater extent, we hope, because of the growing programs in nature, and that students will be able to access many of the arts with strong curricular programs, still including AP, dual enrollment, et cetera, as I mentioned, at any of the schools, not just those isolated within the regional programs. And I think that will be it for me.
Thank you, everyone. So just we really wanted to use this time to speak with our elementary families and to give them, an overview of the changes that are coming, pending board approval with the regional program model. So, what can you do now? You can talk regularly with your student about their interests and strengths. You can connect with the school staff about available opportunities and also become familiar with both your local uh, offerings as well as the regional options to support your child as they make decisions later on. So what we'd like to do now is take a few minutes to answer some of the questions that we're not able to answer in the chat. So I'm going to ask Jeannie, if you would, to go through and pose any of the questions that you need to address now that we can address. And if our program leads, if you can have any cameras, and we'll direct the questions as appropriate.
Certainly. So let's start with a few questions. One question is, if this model gets approved, does the countywide IB program at Richard Montgomery become only regional?
Yes. So in this model, the countywide and regional programs will move into stay in their regions. And with the exception of the Seneca Valley and Edison programs, those will remain as regional opportunities. But for our existing countywide and regional programs, Blair, Richard Montgomery, Pillsville, those programs will be a part of the regions to which they're assigned.
Thank you. So we have another question. This question is asking, what happens if my kid is in a regional program and ends up hating it? and wants to change programs?
So we will follow the process that we currently have. So as our students in the current regional model go into those pathways, if they lose interest and are no longer being successful, they would not be a part of that program and return to their local school. There will be some cases in which there will be opportunities for them maybe to transition to a related pathway. But for the most part, the thinking is that students stay within that particular pathway while they're in the school, or they can return to their local schools and continue in those spaces.
Thank you so much. So one question is, what is the difference between interest-based and criteria-based? I can take this one. So the difference is that we currently have in MCPS high schools interest-based programs, which means if you're a grade 8 student and you are interested in one of the programs, all you have to do is apply for the program within your region. And if there's more interest than seats available, a lottery will be conducted. So that's interest-based. A criteria-based process means that we're going to use multiple academic variables per student to review for placement into a program. So that information will be part of our admissions information that will be available in late April. And that's when we'll provide information about the application process, how to apply, what criteria is involved in the criteria-based programs for each of the different ones. Okay. There is a question about transportation. Can you share a little bit of information about how central transportation will work in a regional model?
Yes, so as a part of the regional model, transportation will be offered within the region and work with the transportation office. The the stops or the hubs will be at the high school. So from each high school, students will be able to catch a bus there to any other schools in the region to participate in a pathway.
Okay, we have this question. What will happen to the global ecology program at Poolesville High School since it is countywide now? That's a good question. What happens is that beginning in the fall, per the Board of Education adopting this model, the global ecology program will become a regional program only. And it'll be considered a leadership program. It'll be a regional model, regional program. I have another question here that I can answer. How does the lottery work and what's the process? So again, I mentioned that the lottery works it's only implemented if there are more requests for seats than that are available. So let me say that again. If there are more requests for seats than seats available, then we run a lottery. And currently, we run a lottery for our world language immersion programs in elementary school. We also run it for our school assignment process for the Northeast Consortium and the Down County Consortium. And for our high school programs, we currently have a number of interest-based full and part-time programs that are operated by a lottery. So there's a lot of interest, and therefore that interest indicates to us that we need more seats. And so as much as we can, we want to place students in programs that they can have access to. All right, let's go to some more questions. I thought I saw one here for our, so here's a good one. What is the timeline for students to make a decision on a pathway? So I'm thinking probably the admission process. Oh,
Yes.
okay.
Yes.
There you go.
So what will happen is as our students move into the window for them making decisions about staying at their school or applying to the pathways in their region will be, I think the window closes in October that year, September of their October, September of their 8th grade year. Prior to that time, we will be having presentations to students as their 7th graders from our counselors. They will again have opportunities to hear more about those options as well when they're in eighth grade. And as this moves forward, there'll be opportunities in sixth grade, seventh grade, and eighth grade to support students' understanding of what some of their options are. We will also at that time be making materials available to our families in order to support their students with that decision making. Much like we do with our current programming, there will be in-person meetings, there will be mailers that will go out, there will be opportunities for our families to engage and ask questions as they support their students in the decision making.
So we have a question. I think this is a good one for Francoise to help us with. Is where are the Chinese languages taught currently? Or where can families find that information out?
So you can either contact me directly, and I'm happy to answer your question. We are currently offering Mandarin Chinese in a variety of schools all over the county. We have Clarksburg, and I'm going to try not to forget any schools. We have Wooten High School, we have Whitman, we have Churchill, we have Walter Johnson, we have Richard Montgomery, we have Einstein. Those are the main ones for now. Otherwise, you can find that information. You can, like I said, you can contact me directly, and I think it's also posted on our website.
Thank you. Okay. So we have a question about how do the regional programs impact the immersion program students that are currently in elementary school? Francoise, can we have you talk about that?
Of course. Could you repeat the question? I'm sorry, I'm trying, and my
Yes.
internet connection is a little unstable, so I apologize in advance if I'm
Yes.
choppy or if I start speaking in French. It's all possible.
Yeah, so a parent is asking, or we have a question about how will the students who are in immersion programs be supported in regional programs? Will they be impacted?
Well, the regional program, the regional pathway for our students in immersion is the perfect pathway, right? So we will have, as I said earlier, our critical languages and global connections program will have an entrance point for students who have already had an intense program, an intense experience in Mandarin Chinese, as are the students who went to Bayard Rustin, Potomac Elementary School, and currently Hoover Middle School. So we have a pathway designed just for them if they want to do our critical languages pathway and global connections. If not, they could still take those classes or the classes that are currently offered at the high school, at their local high school. So currently Hoover is articulating to Churchill, so that would continue to be an option.
Great. And then students who are currently in French and Spanish will have options at their local high school, because generally
At the local
largely,
high school.
yeah.
Yes, absolutely. So French and Spanish are offered at all of our high schools, offering levels 4, 5, 6, AP and IB. So we have plenty of courses that are available in all of our high schools for French and Spanish, so that there is no worry to be had there.
Great.
Francoise,
Thank
while
you.
you're still there, can you talk a little bit about where ASL can be, American Sign Language families, could be accessed at any of our high schools, and confirm the Asian language, Chinese, Mandarin only at this time?
So I will start with Mandarin Chinese. Yes, that is the current focus of our critical languages and global connections program. For now. For now. And regarding American Sign Language, so American Sign Language is a very fast growing languages in Montgomery County Public Schools, which is absolutely wonderful. A lot of high schools are offering it. I would be remiss in starting to list them because I am bound to forget some. high-level programs that have been there for a while are Queen's Orchard High School, Northwest High School, Damascus High School, Blair High School, Blake High School. I'm trying to go Whitman High School. Truly, again, please feel free to contact me and I can give you the precise information. I would really hate to forget even just one. I think if you just type Françoise in MCPS, you will find me. Thank you. Thank you for all your interest about world languages.
Yes, thank you. So I'd like to give this one to Nicola, and if there's any other program team members who'd like to answer this. But this question, Nicola, is how are industry experts being identified and incorporated into?
And so we have what we call a number for some of our programs, program advisory committees. And these are people within industry who advise us on curriculum, trends, and practices, as well as instructional material that we should be using for programs. And so the program advisory committee, which are volunteers in all our, based on our different areas, especially our CTE areas, who they provide information to us and support us as it relates to informing us about our programs.
Thank you. So here's a question, and Ebony, you and I can maybe do parts of this one. Has an analysis of all of these interesting programs been completed by an external organization to assist with determining staffing, program developing, budgeting, and curriculum development? And what guidelines are we using if programs will differ to determine that students are receiving equal support in these respective programs between regions? And so I would like to jump in about the analysis. So we are the internal organization. MCPS has done a lot of analysis regarding this, and we've shared quite a bit of data at the board table, and all of this information is available at the board documents on the website that kind of outlines the access that students have, who applies, what the demographics are, what the numbers are. And this information indicates to us many things, such as there's great interest for regional programs, and we don't have enough seats available. We also have data that's not as available to the community, where we've collected information from families who've told us they've had to decline programs because the programs are too far, or that the transportation is inconvenient, or that there is no transportation. So that's data that we've also used. We've also have built upon the existing programs and the staffing and the curricula that we have. And we're using that to develop and expand programming. So each of the regions and their programs may look a little different, because one of the elements that makes the program special is responding to their community. So even though we might have a science, math, computer science program at Blair High School and one at Poolesville, there are differences. And the differences are in response to the students' interests and the courses that they're interested in. And that's what makes them unique to each of the different regions. And we anticipate some of that to exist, but there will be a core set of experiences and a core curricula that all of the students in a program will have access to. Is there anything you wanted to add, Ebony?
Yes, I think the other part of the conversation was supporting staff and ensuring that they are, ready and prepared for students. And there are several things that we're doing with that. As Jeannie said, that we currently, the majority of our programs exist in a space where those things are being taught to with or being taught by teachers. And what we will be able to do is capitalize on using those teachers to support looking at the materials and codifying the work that they're doing, providing support in developing training plans for their colleagues who now will be teaching those courses across the county. We also have built in time throughout the year for all of the teachers across the regions to come together in a professional learning community with their peers that are teaching similar courses and similar pathways. And in those spaces, they will be able to look at student work. They'll be able to plan. They will be able to look at student performance data. So that will be an opportunity to build on their skills. In addition to that, we have the staff that will be put in place directly in buildings to provide that just-in-time support and some coordination that will be coming directly from the central office to support that. So there are several ways that we are trying to ensure that there's consistency across our schools and regions and to ensure that students have similar experiences and in the pathways.
Thank you. Okay. So there was a question again, just to make sure that what schools offer ASL. And I know that Ms. Van den Plas was answering that, and she will also, this storm has gotten all of the animals just really excited. If you hear a dog in the background. And if you want, you can also email her for additional information.
Jeannie, if I may, I'm trying to pull the list from the website, but because the internet is a little finicky right now,
Yes, do your best.
It's taking a little bit longer, but yes, please hear it. I know that there's somebody else who asked for my name, so you can see it right there. Please feel free to contact me directly if I don't get to the answer tonight.
Yes, and she really is thrilled about all of these language questions. So thank you so much and keep them coming. Oh, and John G was just asking for your name. So Françoise Van den Plas is her name. Okay. Thank you all again for all of your interest. I just want to make sure we're not repeating too many of the same questions. And I know that some of you came in at different times, so we really appreciate. So we do have one question, and I think that Jennifer, this might be for you. Do teachers at the current Poolsville and Blair Magnet programs and the Richard Montgomery IB programs receive additional training or accreditation compared to MCPS teachers outside the programs? And if so, how will this additional training be implemented for teachers across the many new programs? And then I think Ebony can also answer, just in general, some of the professional learning.
Sure, I can start. So all of our IB high schools, we have 8 high schools that offer the diploma program, which is what is offered at Richard Montgomery. Teachers teaching in the diploma program are required to attend an authorized IB workshop. So that is a common practice for all of our IB teachers, and that will continue with if we expand to the regional model or not, because we will continue to have our IB programs. And then all of our current secondary magnet programs, which include Richard Montgomery, Blair, Poolsville, Wheaton, Watkins Mill, Springbrook, and Kennedy. I think I got them all currently. And our middle school, our 2 middle school magnet programs at 4 schools do receive training and will receive training this summer from the Office of Accelerated and Enriched Instruction on pedagogical strategies for teaching gifted and highly able students, including supporting their social emotional learning, what are the best practices and those things. So, and that training will continue if we expand to the regional model. It will expand to with the expansion of the programs. Ebony, am I missing anything?
No, I think you captured it. Thank you.
Great. Thank you so much for that. So we did want to just remind the families that this will be available on the MCPS YouTube channel. And We hope that you're capturing our names because we are very happy to answer any specific questions that you may have. I did put in one of the Q&A responses the website for the program analysis, which has many frequently asked questions that we've collected and answered that might be helpful for you. In addition, there are clips of the Board of Education presentation on the latest presentation on February 5th, along with a lot of helpful information for you. So we do want you to have that as a resource. Okay. So there is a question about how can families find out a little bit more about Northwood's reopening. I think the best way to find out about Northwood High School's reopening in 2027, because currently they're in the Woodward building, which is their holding school right now, is to visit the Northwood website, which will probably connect you to the Boundary website. If you have specific questions, feel free to write any of the staff. The principal will definitely connect you with more information. His name is Jonathan Garrick, Garrick, and hopefully that will help you with some of your questions about the reopening for Woodward. So one question is, will the programs all be open in 2027?
Yes, they will all be available for our incoming ninth graders for 2027.
Okay. We have one question here about so this might be for Tracy. Tracy, will the leadership pathway be taken away from global ecology at Poolsville High School when it becomes regional? Can you share some information?
So, no, the global ecology program will still reside at Poolsville High School.
Great, thank you. The presentation again will be available on the MCPS YouTube web channel, and this slide deck will also be available on the program analysis website that was put in the Q&A. Okay, so I see that engineering is now a pathway in the middle college program at Northwood. I don't remember seeing that in previous meetings. Is that new, and can you explain a little bit more about how students are admitted into the program? Nicola?
Thank you, Jeannie. So the middle college program, yes, will be at Northwood. And this program is an interest with condition program, meaning students in this program are eligible to attain an associate's degree upon graduation. It's a partnership with Montgomery College. And there are certain criteria or conditions that student will have to meet in order to be eligible to take the college courses. The engineering pathway that you're seeing, we're saying that as it relates to the degree options, the associate degree options that students will be able to attain, an engineering degree is an option for students. However, as we're saying, that students will start in grade 9, but by the end of grade 10, the spring semester, they'll start taking their college courses. And 11th and their junior and senior year, they'll continue taking college courses on track to earn that associate's degree. But in order for the student to do this, there are certain criteria or eligibility that they must meet in order to take the college courses at Montgomery College.
Thank you so much. And again, hopefully you're seeing all of our names. And if you happen to have questions beyond tonight, feel free to write us on Outlook, or you are absolutely welcome to visit our website for more information. We definitely wanted our elementary families to know a little bit more about the high school plans coming forward. We hope you're just as excited as we are about this work. Okay. We're going to answer this one. If you could, again, Ebony, just talk a little bit about how bus transportation will work for
Yes,
regional
so
programs.
yes, within the region, students will have access to transportation if they are going to a school that they're not their local assigned school. So the hub will be at the high school. So if you attend Seneca Valley, if a bus will pick you up at Seneca Valley to take you to any of the schools within your region that offer the pathway to which you have been accepted. So there will be just transportation within each region.
Great, thank you. We have a question about students with 504 plans. So how will we be training all the specialty interest program staff to support students who have 504 plans?
So as we start working through moving to these regional programs, it's important to understand that they are our existing teachers in many cases that will be doing that work. So as a part of their training regularly, they receive information about students in their classes who have 504s and the expectations around delivering those accommodations. We will also, as we transition in this model, be intentional about the professional learning that we have as a part of the introduction, which would include working with students with diverse needs, working with students of different backgrounds. So in addition to the teachers who are currently in place that will continue that work as a part of these regional offerings, we will be strategic in ensuring that as a part of their ongoing training, as they move through this model, that we continue to uplift the needs of diverse learners.
Great, thank you so much. So here's a question, and we can maybe both take this. How does this relate to middle school lottery programs, which will be the next decision point for parents of elementary students? So that's a really great question. And I'm sure some of you asked, why am I getting this invitation to learn about high school programs when my child is in third, fourth, or fifth grade? And what we do know about our parents in Montgomery County Public Schools is that the earlier that you get the information, the better that you can help prepare and that you can help learn about the programs to engage your students. And we know that preparation is really important, and we want to do that together. So what is really important now is that you're aware of all of the high school options. And one that we didn't talk in great depth about is most of our students attend their local high schools simply because there's a lot of great programming opportunities that are available for local students. But for students who are looking for something a little different, they're blossoming in a topic that might not be available in their home school, the regional programs are designed to provide students that opportunity. So as you're looking at middle school options, it's really important to first look at what your local middle school offers and then examine what other options there are, such as the Middle School Magnet Consortium, which includes Argyle, Parkland, and Loiterman, which are lottery-based magnet programs. They're whole school magnets that have 8-period courses, 8-period schedule, where students get to be involved and invested in one of those theme programs. Argyle is digital design and development. Parkland is aerospace technology, and Loiterman is creative and performing arts. The other middle school programs is that some students are in elementary immersion, and that is a K-8 program, meaning from kindergarten to grade 8. So your students would articulate if you wanted to continue in the language in a middle school hub. So your student would continue their language. And then in high school, they have the option of their local school, regional programs, and continuing their language. The other options that are happening in middle school are the humanities and communication enrichment, and also math, science, computer science enrichment. That process is done through something called a central review, where all fifth grade students will be evaluated for enrichment in one of those two areas, in both of those areas. And there's nothing a parent has to do. We have all the information we need to conduct our central review. That happens in the fall of each year, and families get information in January. So there's a lot of information to share, but we want you to know that each step along the way, we will be sharing information with you so that you can be prepared for the next steps. Okay, that was a really great question. And I know that middle school was not part of our presentation, but we know that those of you who are fifth grade now have gone through a little bit of the course registration process for sixth grade. And so hopefully that's been a really positive experience for you. All right, so let's go back to some of our questions that we're able to answer. So there might be some complex questions here that we might not be able to answer right now, but we want to make sure that we capture them and we add them to our frequently asked questions. So here's one. How will you make sure the requirements are equitable for children with fewer resources or from lower economic backgrounds, such as the application? I think is what we're being asked. And I think one of the things that we wanted to make sure that we are committed to is that equity is from start to finish. So one equitable way of getting information to families is starting now in elementary school about what's to come so parents can learn. You don't have to do anything with it right now, but learn, process it, ask questions, then talk to your student and the schools about preparation. But we certainly want you to involve your students' interests, review the report card grades with them, ask them what they're interested in, what clubs do you want to be part of, what clubs are they involved in. All of that is involved in this process. So we really want you to be aware that equity starts with having all the information and knowing what to do with it at the very beginning. We also will be doing broad and targeted recruitment to ensure that families know as early as 6th, 7th grade about the process in 8th grade. So when your child is in 8th grade, this is when the admission process opens. And when that opens, you'll get information from your local school about their pathways. In addition, you'll get information about the regional pathways. And remember, regional programs are optional. They're not required, and they are not the only programs available. These are some of the programs available. There's a whole host of programs available at your local high school. So we just wanted you to know that because we can't replicate every single program at every school, regional programs is a way to provide opportunities to students to access a different program that's not easily available at their school. So that's another way for equity. Another way for equity is ensuring we have transportation and that we also have an inclusive admission process. And that information will be more available in April. So thank you for that question. All right, let's see what else we have here. Ebony, can you just walk parents real briefly about what happens next year and the year following with this process?
Okay, so next year, we will ensure that our rising 8th graders, our current 7th graders going into 8th grade, are well informed about the process for application and admission and the opportunities at their local schools and at their in the regional offerings in their region. In addition to that, we will ensure that our parents have similar information. And we know that our 8th graders will start that application process in September and into October. And then I believe, Jeannie, correct me if I'm wrong, those admissions decisions will be shared, I think, by December-ish. So I don't remember the timeline for that. So around December, our students will be notified of their admission status. And
closer to January.
Closer to January.
January.
Of their admission status. So that's what will be happening at the beginning of next school year. And then moving into 27, 28, that's when those students who have started the process in 8th grade will begin in either their local school or in the pathway to which they're assigned.
Great, thank you. And so here's another question that's for you. When will similar sessions be held for current 6th and 7th grade families?
Right. So as we move past into the spring, we will be offering sessions in each region that are in person. And we're inviting our 7th grade families because they are the ones who are most impacted, but that will be the space for others to be involved as well throughout this process. As we currently do, there will be opportunities again for us to bring in our elementary families and our middle school families, much in venues like this virtually, and we will continue to offer in-person sessions as well. In addition to that, we are updating our website to be a space where our families can land as well to get information about programming and the pathways. And so that will be all updated and be a space for our families to learn as well.
Thank you. And Jennifer, are you available? We have a question for you. How do we find out about the accelerated or AP offerings at our local high school in order to compare opportunities with these regional programs?
Oh, that's a great question. So all of our course catalog has that information for families. They can also look at their high school websites to find out about the AP courses that are offered. And all of our high schools offer AP course options.
Thank you so much. And we are at time, and we hope that we were able to answer many of your questions. And you can visit us again on the program analysis website for additional FAQs. And as we're going through this process, we will have more information for you. I do want to thank all of our team members tonight for all of their help presenting information. We will be providing more information to our middle school families come April and May. You will definitely, our elementary families may not hear about that as much since they're going to be targeted to our middle school families, but please continue to learn more, provide us feedback. Our website has information about how you can provide feedback to us and interests. In addition, Emily, do you want to talk to them about the survey that's going to be coming?
Yes, so in the upcoming weeks, you will receive a survey, and it's for our families with students in grades 4 through grade 7, where we will be collecting information from you regarding your child's interest and which program or pathway would be of most interest for your student and for your family. So please look for that in the upcoming days, and we will use that information as we move forward in looking at the seats that we'll be offering and trying to do some long-range planning related to the data that we see in those surveys.
Yeah, so please fill out that survey. And if you have friends in elementary school, which we know you all do, please encourage them because this is how we make the work and the programs better with your feedback. Thank you all for joining us tonight. Have a great evening.
Okay.